So from here, I've got his face basically done. Now I need a round head or the flowing hair. So I need to start to go more with the rest of it. Here's where I'm going to start cutting them apart. But you can see how this one tool, I'm able to do really the whole face, the whole front of the face. Now I'm going to work on the rest of the head, and I'm going to use the saw and other tools to do that. Okay? All right, so we're going to round this head off. See, I'm trying to cut into her a little bit. Let's get a little outline here. Does the noise of that saw get into this microphone at all? I mean, can you guys hear that? Does that make, I can turn this off, that saw? No? Fine. Well, good, good. This is a lot quieter tool, so. See how I can sand with this? This is a great little tool. I can take this and I can just remove ice in large quantities. I'm going to finish off the roundness of the face, give her a little ear. Ears can be difficult to do. You don't want to give her too much ear. This is where the face is going to go. Alright. We're just going to round this all off. You can see how this is a really great great shaping tool. I can work at it where I can really dig in and make a nice impression, give me some reference. I can very delicately sand edges and take off just little bits at a time. You can see how when I dig in there, it just takes that ice away. This is a great little tool. Alright, so we've got her hair, we got a basic head, a basic shape. Now this is going to be a very large girl. Okay? Nothing against large girls. But you can see the size of the head and compare it to like my head, okay, it's a little bigger than mine. So again, proportionally, that head should match the body, okay? So from here, I can clean up the cheekbones if they still look a little rough. Clean up the brow a little bit, smooth it out. It's a great sanding tool. Alright, and from here, that's quite easy to turn this. There we go. Now from here I can start to make hair. Now, like I said, I can do it a couple different ways. If you can see, you can look straight at this block, okay, you can see a lot of that facial features, okay? Now, watch what happens after. I'm going to put some light flowing hair in here, and you're going to see some difference. Features in there, and you can start to see a little bit what I was talking about, and I'll rinse this off and dry myself off. You get a little wet doing this. See how you start to see that hair come through the front of that face, okay? So really, if I'm going to do this and I'm going to utilize this, I'm not going to do a lot more than that. I'm going to give her a nice flowing hair, but I don't want to put too much detail into it. I'm going to clean up the edges, smooth things out, just kind of give her that little bit of a flow. And it takes a little bit of that interruption away. We got that, but see, now if I take my V-bit, and I get detail with the hair. So if I start getting detail with the hair back here, I'm going to start putting a little bit more curl in the hair. I'm going to start putting a little bit more shapeliness in the hair. And I'm gonna make the hair look a whole lot nicer. This is gonna look really flowing. Character. So as far as the hair goes, you know, I've got a really nice hair look. But when I look at the face, can you see the face as well as you could before? No. All that's starting to be interrupted by what's behind it. Okay? So that's something that definitely you need to take into consideration anytime you're doing a piece. Alright? Ribbon in the bottle of water. So we're going to rinse this little girl off. And see just a little bit of water. And water actually is a tool. It's a tool that can be used for ice sculpting it. See, you can see how it clears everything off. It takes those snowy edges away, cleans it up. See, it makes it look really nice. Any any questions on a face? Yes.
When you're doing the features, do you have to overblow them at all to keep in mind of melting?
A little louder?
Do you have to keep the features larger or smaller or more careful because of the melting?
You do want to try and get in there and make a good impression, a deeper impression. The question was basically how much time do you have to make those impressions so they don't melt away before you're finished with the ice sculpture and then they're gone. Ideally, if you can work in a freezer, if you're going to do a lot of really small detail work, it's best to work in a freezer so that those details don't disappear, because they will disappear. If you're going to try and put eyelashes and all kinds of little details, I want to put little mustache hairs if it's a guy, whatever. Those are things that I do last. Now I'm going to do everything. I'm going to do the hair. I'm going to do all this. I'm going to rinse it all off. I'm going to get it all done. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to clean up the eyes and put eyelashes in. I'm going to do that. And I'll rinse that and put it in the freezer right away. Done. Okay? So that's a very good question, because you want to do all the big stuff and all the major features and all the things that's going to take you time to do, get the basic shape, where the eyes are, where the nose, get all that together, finish everything, and then come back, detail, and put it in the freezer. And that way you save it. Because if you do all that detail first, and then you start working on arms and legs and other things, by the time you get done, well, the face is gone. So that's very important. Any questions? Any other questions? Hey, we're going to have a test here in a minute. What's sublimation? When what?
When the ice disappears in the freezer.
It disappears in the freezer. Yeah, it disappears. When it goes from a solid to a gas. All right, so we have our little head here. We're going to chop her head off. My trusty assistant Johnny here, my right-hand man. All right, just kind of keep her from falling down.
Chainsaw.
Here. You're trying to steal my girl? Trying to steal my girl. All right, let's give me some room here. I got a couple little rough edges here. I'm going to knock off. So before I put her in the freezer, I want to make sure she's ready to go, ready to mount, wait a minute, actually on top of the body, and this is actually my better one. Now what I've done here's an interesting tool that probably started getting used about 12 years ago or so. It's just a piece of aluminum. When you put two pieces of ice together, the most important part of putting two pieces of ice together is having 100% contact. And that's what we're going to do when we start fusing. I'm going to take this piece of aluminum, and as a tool, I put it in some warm water, and I found that we used to put irons on it. I used to use irons. And you put an iron in there and get it warmed up and use that. Well, that iron creates a hot spot. And we've since found that if you keep it in warm water, the whole thing is a nice even temperature. You don't get any hot spots. So I'll set that on this piece of aluminum. I'll move it around. I can look at it. If it's not level, I can try and push it one direction, try to level it off. Make sure she's not tilted like this or goofy like that. She's all rinsed off. She's ready to go. And I'll take that, I'll put that in the freezer like that, so that my edge that I'm going to fuse stays nice and flat and nice and pretty. Okay? So we can't fit her in there. There's enough room. I just need to set her down so we can let her melt. Just sit her on top of the cooler for now. Just sit her there. That's fine. Okay. Now here's a larger piece of aluminum, and I actually even have larger pieces than this. So this is basically the length of the block as far as the 20-inch width goes. And I have a larger piece that's 40. So I infuse big pieces together. Okay? So both of these work very